All right. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is My Testimony on the Cornelius Counsels. I just finished, I'm about 17 minutes in to the video the Elder Apostle Tahar just did about 4 hours ago. And he was mentioning about the councils that we were having at the House of David, which, as he said, it was named House of David after King Masha. And after a certain period of time, they ended up kicking him out because of some stupid dream Bishop Nathaniel had, where he was in pork juice or something like that, on something, or rice or something like that. I forget exactly all the details, but that's the reason why he said he's not King David, But nevertheless, those councils were wicked councils. There were 3 councils, and they were stopping the, speakings, from happening, so they could hold these wicked demonic councils. Matter of fact, let me get this one quick precept, since it came to mind. Let me get that. And I got another one, but I'll save that for later. And this is in the book of Psalms 1:1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Elder Apostle Tahar told him he didn't want to be a part of that council anymore. If I'm not mistaken, he could correct me if I'm wrong. And they asked him why. He said because it's wicked, something along those lines, And indeed it was wicked. It was one-sided. Man, we could go on for days and days. A council is wicked when before you even heard out, they already have a judgment, not even written out, not set in their mind, but typed out, what the judgment is going to be. So, that's straight up wicked. So they already had, the notion to kick us out before they even finish hearing the matter out. And you know what the scriptures say about that. Then not to judge something before you hear the matter and understand it. Then you can make a decision and a judgment. Salakia. All right, so what I was going to do is just take it back to show you how it got to this point. Now, there was a brother. He was actually from South America, and he looked like a straight up Edomite. And we had this is when we still had the Passovers together. We had a Passover at Union Square, and while we were having the Passover there, I saw him in line, to go get his food and whatever the case was. And I looked at him, and I said, I'm going to make it my mission tonight to speak to this brother, try to comfort his spirit, because I could imagine what he's going through, because I was going through, that Edomite demon fucking with me. So I could just imagine what the brother was going through, So this is the reason why I approached him. And eventually when I approached him, we started talking, and I was, trying to give him comforting words, as to, just keep on doing the work, keep on fighting. The Lord got you in here. I forget, all the particulars, but I know it was set up to basically comfort him. And out my peripheral, I saw Saaja, that wicked Judas goat. He was kind of kept inching back to where we were, trying to play it off. But I saw that joker coming a mile away, inside joke, and they kept, pulling back. But what he was doing was he was pretty much ear hustling, to see what I was talking to the brother about. Now, as a leader, I don't blame him, because, you don't really know who I am, and you want to make sure that your flock is being fed the right information, even though all I was doing was comforting him. But on the other side, he's just a sneaky bastard, because he should have just came over there and said, hey, shalom, brothers, what's going on over here? I would have respected him more if he would have did that. So nevertheless, we exchanged numbers, and we were keeping in touch, sending each other letters, I believe we called each other a few times on the phone. Yeah, we've called each other a few times on the phone, just chopping it up. And eventually, these Cornelius councils happened. And after the first council, after the Apostle Gabar, which they thought they were going to make him look foolish, because he wanted Apostle Tahar to go into the Cornelius thing, because Apostle Tahar was the head of over our group at the time, not hot dog head. And pretty much, he wanted him to go and teach it, but they were like, no, we want you to teach it, because they were hoping that Gabar would fall on his face. And by the time Apostle Gabar finished going through the chapter, everybody was silent. And one brother there, Ibari, I think his name was, he stood up, he said, look, brothers, me and this man had some things, going on in the past. He was a Benjamite, Salaki from my lousy Benjamite accent, but I look in this man's eyes and he's telling the truth. So even he saw it. And even Yum saw it. He said, look, man, I see something about you guys in here, man. You're afraid to accept new stuff, man. I see something about you guys. But then the very next week, I guess I just straightened him out. And he jumped ship. And this continued on for 3 weeks. And the next council after that, I believe that was the second council, or was that the third council? No. Well, at that, once the first council finished, they said, all right, well, this is the agreement. Nobody outside of this council is supposed to speak about this to anybody else. So we all agreed. Hey, no problem. So I'm not sure if that was the second council where they did that with the phone and everything, or if that was the third council. I can't remember, that well. I know the apostles and the bishops, they remember better than me on that. But he, during the week, had called me. The same brother from Boston had called me, and we were chopping it up on the phone, and he was asking me about the Cornelius thing. So now, he wasn't at the council. So how did he know to ask me that? But I was naive, at the time. I'm thinking he's still a brother, so I'm gonna still try to, work with him. And he's asking me questions of this, that, and the other. And the last thing I said to him was, well, as far as that's concerned, I said, the Spirit's gonna work it out. And I did say that. But when we got to the council, they brought it up. And I did tell them the Spirit's gonna work it out. But the way they posed the question was that, because we spoke about many things, and that was the last thing we spoke about. So they, they were trying to box me in the corner. So I had said no at the beginning. And I felt bad when I said that, but then as soon as I said that, it's like a spirit was on me to say it, which, like I said, I felt fucked up afterwards. But what happened was they started, fumbling with each other. They were trying to get the brother on the phone, get him on the phone. And they were trying to grab the phone. The phone wasn't working. They were dropping shit, running into each other, looking like a bunch of Keystone cops. Those of you brothers that's younger won't know about that. But you could type in Keystone cops. I'm sure it'll come up on YouTube. A bunch of bumbling, fumbling clowns. And they were like going back and forth, and it didn't work. Because all I was trying to do was help the brother. I was trying to be there for you, dog. And inside joke. But they kept on for at least a minute or two trying to get their brother on the phone. They couldn't get him on the phone. So eventually what they did was they brought me in the back. They brought me in the back, in that little room. Apostles know what I'm talking about. And when we went in that little room, they got him on the phone and they asked him, did so-and-so and such and such say this, that, and other? And he said no. So they couldn't. It was like the Lord just shut them down in every way they could go. And when they tried to bring it back up in the council, I said, well, if we weren't supposed to speak about this, because they put me on the spot, if we weren't supposed to speak about this, if no one that was in the council, or we were supposed to speak about this, how did this man know to call me when he wasn't even a part of the council unless Boston told him? And they were like, they got all pissed off and mad because it was the truth. How the fuck did he find out? Because Saaja, that devil, put him up to it. Told him to call me because they were trying to crucify me. And you got to remember, like the apostles, they were pros at being brought to council. They knew how to bob and weave, all those spiritual demonic darts that were thrown at them. But I was brand new to that shit. That shit was like, I was a nervous wreck, inside, because I never been through any councils like that, so, nevertheless, they, it died down. I believe that was the second council, and then we had to have a third council. And in the third council, that's when they had the judgment already written out, typed up, should I say, on what they were going to do to us, So that was a straight up wicked council. But I just wanted to give my testimony on it, and that's like the best I can remember. And I just wanted to leave with this two precepts, if I remember both. The first precept is in the book of Isaiah. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to the book of John first St. John 16, because the Lord comforted us after that, because right after that happened and we got kicked out, that's we already knew that the nations couldn't be saved. We already knew that the Gentiles were Israelites. But after that wicked council, the Israelite foreigner, or the Gentile Israelite foreigner, topic exploded, to where great understanding started to come more and more, into view. Because not only was Acts 10 and 11 dealing with Israel, but also Romans the 11th chapter was all dealing with Israel, the ones that were grafted in, And Apostle Gabar spoke to Apostle Tar that same week, and he told him, well, Romans 11, so on and so forth. And that same week, the Bishop Manatazak and myself, we were going through it, and we was like, hey, wait a minute, what if these got to be Israelites, But we had got stuck at one particular point, and we kind of just backed up off of it. And when Apostle Gabar came up that Tuesday, and we had the class, he brought it up. He said, look, I got something to tell you, but I'm not going to say it. It's a particular chapter, something like that, that's dealing with the Israelite foreigners. But he never said what the chapter was. And I gave him a ride that day, to the train station in the Bronx. I took him all the way to the Bronx. And I said, yeah, I know what we're talking about. He said, what? He said, the Romans 11 chapter is, it's talking about the Israelites. Yeah, his eyes lit up. He said, yeah, So the Spirit, opened that up greatly after that wicked council, man. So it was beautiful. But anyway, St. John 16 and 1, it says, these things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think he doeth the Most High service. Right. And then the guys could have killed us. They would have, because Taza Joke jumped up and said, if this was the kingdom, the Most High, if this is the kingdom, you would be put to death. To death. Pastor Taza said, man, sit your ass down. And he sat down, just like Rosa Parks did. And this is Isaiah 66. And let's see. This is 66 and 5. Isaiah 66 and 5. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. But he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. That's right. So they're going to be ashamed for what they did. And it's so much so now that some of them, well, they're teaching now that, you know, that the Cornelius is an Israelite, but they never apologized and they never told their congregation or anyone else that they were wrong in what they did when they kicked us out. You know. So yeah, I just wanted to give a few words on that, and hopefully it was edifying. You know, just to brief you or keep you up to date on that history as best as I remember. Shalom.